thinking numbers on their own are a useful identifier in this franchise. 1 minute and 41 seconds of credits accompanied by that knife-wielding noise that can only be made by carving a pumpkin with a Hattori Hanzo sword or a knife that has come in contact with air too quickly.
Jamie, I want you to stay in the car.
This previously on Halloween 4 makes it look like Jamie said "F that noise" and teleported outside immediately after the request to stay in the car. What if I hadn't seen the previous one and decided to start here on the 5th movie, which is actually the 4th movie depending on which path you take through this choose-your-own-adventure franchise. And then, would you believe it, after being hit by a car, they shot me again. I was thrown down a shaft, which they blew up with dynamite, mind you. A bit aggressive on their part, I think. And that led me to this river that I fell in. It took my clothes forever to dry, but I digress. Anyway, the river carried me to this old guy's treehouse, and he took me in. What are the odds? It was all quite absurd that I survived any of it, but it was also very cinematic, so I decided not to talk to my union rep. I didn't even know Michael Myers could swim.
Maybe someone around here gave him lessons.
All right, calm down, Pacino. It's bad enough Halloween 5 chose not to follow up in any kind of interesting way with the very interesting twist they had at the end of Halloween 4, but showing me what happened again just feels like they're rubbing their poor choices in my face. Also, Halloween 5 pulls a Halloween 2 and takes the main character from the previous film and puts her in a hospital for a large chunk of the movie, making her way less important and way less interesting in the process. Kids. This tattoo is the key to a whole story. Too bad it isn't a movie about that story. This guy living in a shack by the river has taken care of a comatose Michael for the past year without so much as an IV, feeding tube, catheter, or even a bedpan. I get that Michael is borderline invincible, but no way this guy knew that. At what point was he like, it's really weird, this guy's still breathing and never pissing or shitting in his pants? Did this guy go buy Mikey a new mask at some point? Because this is not the mask from the previous film, and somehow it looks worse. I know the saying is no good deed goes unpunished, but goddamn. Random gospel preaching brick thrower knows the exact room in the hospital that Jamie is in.
Then why do I still feel guilty?
Maybe it's because the scene suddenly cut to you, Tina, and Max having a grand old time walking down the street instead of letting you complete that thought and or emotion. Parking in front of a fire hydrant. How exactly was Michael able to hide from Rachel in broad daylight in this small amount of greenery? Why the f can't we see him? Earlier, Jamie was able to write down a description of what she saw. Why is she now doing artistic interpretations? It would be a lot quicker to write MAX than drawing and coloring a picture.
All right. Hold on a minute.
Rachel thinks the person on the other end of the telephone can hear her from the shower upstairs. Also, movie ropes me into some peeping. Like, I'm the one over here trying to be Tommy. Killer is right behind you, but they mastered the art of standing so incredibly still that they become invisible to the eye and any other relevant senses cliche.
Rachel?
Dr. Loomis. Max is gone.
Rachel's struggle with the phone was all a ruse to deceive the audience about Rachel's familiarity with phones, I think. This music.
What about Max?
I think he's entering the scene right now as if the script manifested him, and he's done a murder as well.
Write what you know.
This bit of advice would change everything for Jamie. She would go on to write the next great American novel. Rachel is still alive? What about her morning routine has stopped Michael in his tracks? Is he waiting for her to moisturize? Seriously, is Michael's scent not noticeable from across the room? Man hasn't taken a shower in years. I know I've already sinned this movie for Michael waiting so long to kill Rachel, but the movie is also getting a sin for killing Rachel. She survived all the traumatic bullshit in Halloween 4 just to die in such a stupid way 20 minutes into this one. If she had to die in Halloween 5, at least give her a death saving Jamie or something meaningful.
Addicted Italian should have taken effect by now. Another dose might stop her heart.
Your made-up medicine word is harder to pronounce and more distracting than just saying the sedative.
My memory goes back 12 years.
And my memory is that in Halloween 4, there were several mentions of 10 years ago, and we know this is 1 year later, so that would mean Dr. Loomis's memory should go back 11 years since he's referring to the fire in the hospital. Also, I just want to point out again that this is what Dr. Loomis and Michael Myers survived 11 years ago.
I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, I knew that hell would not have him.
My closing statement regarding the first wedgie I received from my older brother somehow makes it into the script.
Chill out, Max. I'll get you water in a second.
She does not. The movie doesn't include enough whippets to explain why Tina is giggling all the goddamn time. Forget Michael Myers, burn the house down because of this doll. The cracked frame here is to show that Michael took the picture of Jamie, and he also cleaned every individual shard of glass and put them perfectly back in the frame, as one does. Also, if Jamie is his ultimate target, why did he kill Rachel only to hang out in the house and wait for someone else to lead him to the clinic? There's no way he could know that Tina or anyone would show up later and give him the same chance to find Jamie.
Can you believe we have this whole house to ourselves for the weekend?
What I can believe is that this line is more about giving the audience knowledge than it is about anything that would naturally come up in a conversation. So when they never come back to the house, I'm left wondering why this dialogue was spoken at all.
Oh, Max! Shut up, canine trap!
Fuck you, Tina! Where's the water you promised? Tina looks back, but Michael is no longer standing in front of the window. However, his arm is still visible enough that Tina should be able to see someone is in the house, but she does not.
Oh, you're blushing! Come on, you can't hide anything from me.
Movie has time for this.
Satin sheets. They're Rachel's!
Being excited to go to Pound Town, but only because you get to do it on someone else's linen.
Mikey and I like it in the car.
Movie thinks this he's right behind you bullshit way more entertaining than I do.
Michael!
He actually heard that? Fucking what? I feel like we're supposed to assume this is actually Michael that Jamie is seeing, judging by the stoic look on his face. But then, after all the panic running, steam, and sheets, the guy that ends up finding her is a maintenance man. So assuming that was Myers outside and not a dictatalian-induced hallucination, why didn't he go ahead and just kill Jamie, the maintenance guy, and the nurse for the hat trick? I know Michael is a rascal and likes to fuck around with his intended victims, but Halloween 5 is really testing my patience with how much of this fucking around I will buy. So the director said, hit the lamp as you climb up there. It'll make the scene more exciting. And that's exactly what she did.
Why? Why are you protecting him?
I'm currently more curious why they let Loomis within 50 feet of Jamie if he treats her like this constantly.
You're 9 years old.
Movie seems to be fudging the numbers yet again. At the beginning of Halloween 4, Rachel says,
You going for a record here, the 7-year-old Insomniacs Hall of Fame?
and since we know Halloween 5 takes place a year later, that would make Jamie 8 and not 9. Ooh, 3 hot dogs for 99 cents. Village Drug just told Costco to suck on its glizzy.
Let's see, we're gonna go to...
Here we have Bootsman, or at least that's what I will be calling him. A guy who is so assholish he kicks a dog instead of taking a bite out of an apple. Also, who knew the Halloween universe would inspire the MCU to introduce characters with no intention of explaining them for years? Also, in the wide shot of the bus stop, there wasn't even a dog there for the kicking. Loomis opens the laundry chute to contemplate whether or not he has the core strength to take a shit in it. The Illuminator can't hear the weird metal clanging in this dude's boots or all the creaky floorboards that should have absolutely given away Bootman's presence. This guy thinks that the electricity will still be working in a house that has been abandoned for years. Why so much interest in this laundry chute? Does he think Michael Myers is hiding in there? Does he realize he needs to make us aware of it so we can have a better understanding of where Jamie is in the final act when she's hiding it in? Did Loomis read the script? Oh, rats. This over-the-shoulder perspective doesn't give us a good look at Michael, but there is not nearly enough shrubbery blocking his view to suggest that every one of these people shouldn't be able to see him, unless he's cloaked. He's cloaked, isn't he?
Oh, Mike. Nice wax job. Touch the car again and you're dead.
Halloween 5 manages to have a character named Michael in it that is an even bigger asshole than Michael Myers. It's kind of impressive. I said kind of. Between this shot and this shot, the sun has gone almost completely down. So it's a continuity error or 2 doofuses being baffled by the task of putting 3 cases of beer in a car. Gets a sin either way.
Okay, asshole.
Is Michael not Myers not familiar with the idea of Michael Myers? Or are his balls just caked in so much hair gel and leather cladding that he forgot he could die? I guess 1989 was a weird time when people would go through the trouble of setting up chairs and lighting in the foyer for this kind of nonsense. And we all now see what smartphones have taken from us. Tina leaned in close to Mike earlier and said,
Pick me up at 8 at Rachel's, okay?
So how did Michael Myers hear this from where he was peeping Tomming and know where and when to pick Tina up?
Michael, open the door.
See, it's funny because her boyfriend's name is Michael too. So even though she's talking to a Michael, she's not talking to her Michael. Do you get it? I fucking hate Tina, but it has nothing to do with Wendy Foxworth's performance and everything to do with this movie's script making the character too annoying to care about.
I said stop the goddamn car. I want a pack of cigarettes.
This works.
Cookie woman.
Cookie woman. Cookie woman.
Dale's gas station, 5th and Main.
Geez, Bob, how did you come up with that so fast? Well, John, I watched a lot of $100,000 Pyramid and have become an expert at figuring out very big things from very little information. Funny story, Bob, I caught a dude jacking it to the Cookie Woman a week ago. Drove the same kind of car you do and everything. Tore out of there before I could make an arrest. Say, how come with this amazing power of yours you've never made detective? Yeah, John, that Dick Clark is one awesome game show host. A real taste treat. This shot is only here to frustrate me with how inept the police in this town are.
Please, you gotta come with us to the clinic.
They take Tina to the clinic for no reason other than to hug Jamie, and then she is free to go on her merry way. Nothing that happens in those few minutes makes much of a difference beyond the runtime being safely padded.
When you're older, there are people you're gonna meet who make you feel like connected. Like your heart is made of neon.
I'm calling bullshit on you having those feelings for this guy. He doesn't even know how to give the finger correctly. Tina! Forget Michael Myers. Burn the clinic down because of this doll.
Well, then you can give me a ride to the Tower Farm.
Come on, Tina. You can't bring the cops to the party. Nobody's gonna be cool with that. Why is Michael following the cops and Tina to the Tower Farm if his goal is to kill Jamie? He's literally outside Jamie's current location.
Jamie's not in her room. She's nowhere in sight.
How did Jamie get from a room on the second floor of the clinic to the outside without coming downstairs or without anyone seeing her? Oh, that's right. She and Myers are related. She's got them slasher genes.
Loomis, what the hell are you doing?
He's manhandling kids like he has been the whole fucking movie, and apparently the sheriff's department is just A-okay with that.
I'm gonna make Tina. You don't even know where she is. But I do.
Billying the lead.
Bits and I just had greatest idea. Yeah. What?
Sam whispers because she knows it's a shitty idea, and the movie is now gaming my need to know in an effort to keep me here. Wait, what game were they playing again?
The Crazy Eights?
These psychopaths are playing without a draw pile.
Take me, but spare my friend.
They had a spare Mike Myers costume at the ready for this impromptu pranking of the police. Also, Spitz survives this.
Look what I found.
Seriously, what drugs are these people on that everything is so fucking funny all the time? Hey, do you guys want to go into this barn for no reason? Sure, it's not like the police are worried about a murder on the loose or anything like that. Plus, we can in there. To be clear, a random box of kittens in the real world is an automatic sin removal, but a random box of kittens in this contrived nonsense is an automatic sin. Tina walked in this barn sporting a high ponytail, and now all of her hair is down. I'm almost more irritated that I know what a high ponytail is. Kitten scares. 100% more adorable than cat scares, but also just as annoying and sinful. Tina once again looks in the direction of Myers and doesn't see him obviously moving in the background. The hero Haddonfield needs is an optometrist.
What am I doing? I hate cats.
Hating cats. Hay scares. 100% more itchy than kitten scares, but also just as annoying and sinful.
Oh my God!
And kids, that's how I met your mother. Choosing to have sex on hay. When are the people of Haddonfield going to realize that safe sex in this city requires more than just a prophylactic? Premature penetration prevents premature ejaculation. Also, prosthetic torso is an obvious prosthetic.
Hey, somebody's gonna get hurt with that thing.
At this point, even if this is Spitz, I think shooting him is acceptable.
Unbelievable. No respect for authority anymore.
To be fair, doofus blonde-haired cop said,
Hey, fella, over here.
so Michael is just doing what he was asked to do. I think I'd rather be watching a movie about this elderly lady's story. Why is she at this party with a bunch of college kids? Is she the Tower Farm ghost?
I can't leave Sam and Spitz.
The lesson here is when in doubt, go skinny dipping with the creepy mole man.
You guys want to come skinny dipping?
It is Halloween in f***ing Illinois. The answer to that question should always be no. Movie is saying that when Tina walked past the obviously dead cops earlier, she didn't notice the obviously dead cops. Myers decides not to kill Tina because he wants to go after Jamie. And then he decides to abandon that and try to kill Billy because I have no idea. He's afraid of pirates, maybe?
Stay here, Billy. I'll be back.
Not telling the actor playing Billy that Billy didn't die. There's an explosion and the car is on fire now because it hit a tree. I'm assuming this is why American cars had a bad rap in the 80s. Horn stops just so we know the car isn't that broken and it was just this asshole leaning on it the whole time. No. Let's talk about Tina's plan. Well, there wasn't one. You could have alerted the kids to your presence before sneaking right up behind them. Sometimes it really is hard to root for Loomis. Also, how did Dr. Loomis know where to find them? And how did he get here so fast? After watching this movie in Halloween 4, I'm pretty sure Dr. Loomis has the same teleporting powers as Michael.
Right out! Find the other girl!
How do these cops, who just showed up and have been told nothing, even know that there was a third person with Jamie and Billy? Loomis and I know that Tina was here because Jamie has been mumbling her name all throughout the woods. But For the police, it should be just as likely that Tina went skinny dipping with Mole Man.
Can you kill him?
Think so.
Ah, f*** you, Loomis. For 3 movies, you've been talking about how Michael Myers is pure evil and can't be stopped, and now all of a sudden you've got an idea on how to kill him? When exactly did you figure that out? Because all I've seen you do in this movie is torment the fuck out of a 9-year-old kid and yell at Sheriff Meeker.
Michael, it will destroy you too.
For the 2nd movie in a row, after Loomis has told everyone that Michael is not human, Loomis tries to reason with Michael Myers as if he's human.
You'll find her waiting for you.
So Loomis's plan involves using Jamie as bait, and because the Haddonfield police force is the most incompetent police force in the history of slasher cinema, they allow all this to go down the way Loomis wants it to. Also, the movie inspires The Pledge. Maybe no one has lived in the Myers house for a long time, but someone definitely did some renovations, because this doesn't look anything like this.
You want to practice our signals?
Oh man, they dragged poor Troy Evans into this mess.
We just had a distress call from the clinic.
We're going to find out that Michael has apparently killed a bunch of people at the clinic, and the only reason that makes sense is that he did it so all the cops at the Myers house would head there. But if that's the case, how did he know they would send all the cars and the entire SWAT team? And since when has Michael given a shit about a bunch of cops or people in general being anywhere? I send this tactical Michael Myers person a bunch in Halloween 4, and I don't see any reason not to do that again. Won't be needing this anymore.
Now you'll come, won't you, Michael?
And then I asked my college girlfriend, who the f*** is Michael?
Come on, my pal Eddie, and I'll give you a ride to the station.
If the plan all along was to get Jamie back to the station, why didn't they leave when all the other cops did?
What the hell are you doing?
We aren't taking her anywhere.
This kind of gives me the impression that Loomis knew something like murders at the clinic would happen, so he essentially has sacrificed all those people for this endeavor. And considering he doesn't seem to give a shit about Jamie's life, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. But I also find it odd the movie wants me to hate Loomis when he's been the most consistent protagonist in the franchise up until this point.
Gotta call Meeker.
I don't understand why Loomis wouldn't want Meeker alerted. Now that Michael is here, you should absolutely be calling for extra cops. I love Donald Pleasance getting to play crazy, but I would like at least to be able to understand his motives. Creepily ordering your lamps from smallest to tallest.
I know why you've come back, Michael. Because the little girl.
But Michael has had multiple chances to kill Jamie. He was even already at the clinic earlier when Jamie was still there, but chose to follow Tina instead. Maybe that is why he came back, but the movie hasn't done a good job explaining that to us. Charlie had this goddamn rope ladder on him the whole time. Why the f*** didn't they do this as soon as Loomis left the room? For those of us that weren't annoyed enough about the off-screen massacre that took place at the police station in Halloween 4, Halloween 5 makes a valid attempt at trumping that with the off-screen massacre that took place at the clinic. No, Jamie, Loomis shit in there. Why do they have a bunch of old shit hanging from the ceiling and walls? Is he trying to kill Jamie or just give her panic attacks every time she walks into a Cracker Barrel? When the police did the original sweep of the house to set up their stakeout, how did they not discover an attic full of dead bodies? Also, I get having Rachel and Max here. They both mean something to Jamie, but f***ing Greaser Mike?
Rachel! No!
Jamie is absolutely correct. Killing Rachel at the beginning of the film only to force a sisterly relationship with Tina was a terrible choice. Jamie climbs into the coffin in acceptance of her fate, or just in an attempt to end the movie quicker. Also, attic bathtubs.
You're just like me.
I mean, that would have been true if anyone behind this movie had decided to follow up the end of Halloween 4 in any kind of interesting way. Sure, the coffin falls over, but Stabby McStabs-a-lot is still trying to stab someone who clearly is no longer in the place he is stabbing.
Let's play a game.
Wrong horror franchise, asshole. Myers has been unstoppable up to this point, getting hit by cars, taking bullets like a champ, even resisting a honeypot, only to be foiled by a trap that looks like it was rigged by Kevin McAllister. This previously single-shot weapon is either suddenly able to fire 2 consecutive shots, or the scene was edited to make it sound that way. Neither of those things make sense. Loomis goes full hacksaw Jim Duggan, which doesn't even make sense. Sure, a hacksaw can do some damage, but it's not even an intimidating looking saw. And I get it, even though a circular saw looks more terrifying, you can't be going around town calling yourself circular saw Jim Duggan. Sounds foolish. Oh yeah, and the movie chooses a 2x4 as the straw that breaks this camel's Mike Myers, and the world is a worse place because of it. We're made to think Loomis died from overexertion, blood loss, and a broken heart just so he can undie from those things when the franchise decides it wants more money. Jamie's crying. Did part of Dr. Loomis's plan to kill Michael involve capturing him alive and putting him in a jail cell? Because that doesn't sound like a good plan. Also, they left his goddamn mask on him. What the f*** is this? A movie?
I take her back to the clinic.
Do you mean the clinic that is now a crime scene you were pulling bodies from just a few minutes ago? That clinic? Oh boy, I can't wait for the identity reveal of Bootsman. I'm sure it will tie everything together and make the whole movie worth it. So Bootsman is going to go into the police station, kill a bunch of police officers, and break Michael Myers out of prison. What I can't figure out is if the goal was always to grab Michael and take him away with him, why Bootsman wouldn't have approached him earlier when they were both outside of Rachel's house. This creepy hair touch was deemed the best take and left in the film.
Wait in the car.
I'm not saying that waiting in the car would be a good choice, but maybe, for once, Jamie could consider running away from instead of towards the danger. Cliffhangers that don't pay off for another 6 years. I'm just going to go ahead and assume I'll be disappointed.
And things just got completely out of hand.
Andy crawled to freedom through 500 yards of smelling foulness I can't even imagine. Good soup.
Oh my God, I had these exact scented markers. Take me away, Cosby Berry Blast.
Hello?
Do you want to die tonight, Cece?
Just joking.
Where are you guys going? Where are you going?
Oh, Danny, this means so much to me. Because I know now that you respect me. You choose me?
Give the bag to Bozo, drop the gun, and put your hands in the air.
And the bureaucrats in the state capitol can put that in their pipes and smoke it.
Inside units, I want to report every 5 minutes.
Roger. 10-4.
Dude, you don't have to do that sound. It already does that.
Cool brush. Not just a brush, but a verticale. One brave little
Toaster.
Curses foiled again.
You're just like me.
I am not ugly as